Hi everyone, Bandana here. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to Thrive Heavy Lies the Crown, a game made by Zugalu Entertainment and published by Playside, and many thanks to them for the key so I could check out the final release of the game. I tried this a long time ago when it was a beta demo, very long time ago now. It feels like at least a year or more, and then I think it went into early access and now it's out in full release. I have tried to make this video 8 to 10 times, and I'll talk for a while and ramble on about it, and I struggle because I'm a bit of a perfectionist sometimes, and I've really struggled with this one because I don't have lots of positive things to say about this game, and I am sorry to the developers. I don't like being negative about people's hard work. It's not a fun thing to do. As someone who, you know, reviews games and plays them and, you know, has to critique them, having a more negative experience than positive is never ideal. And not everything about this game is bad. I want to make that clear from the outset. What this game has clearly suffered from, and I did worry when I played that beta a long time ago, is feature creep. Some small companies, especially inexperienced ones, get a cool idea and then want to add it to their game. Get a cool idea and then want to add it to their game. Get a cool idea, want to add it to their game. The result of this is that the original concepts for the game never get completed, and the new cool ideas never get fully fleshed out or completed either. And unfortunately, Thrive is a perfect example of where this has happened in the extreme. The city building aspect is pretty good in that you can build one or more cities. Each area of the map has sort of different resources. So you can have apples, here I can have wheat and fish, down here I can have iron and coal and sand, yada yada yada. So the city building aspect is pretty good. You know, there's lots of different building types, there's various chains that feed into each other, buildings that can do multiple things. It's not set up in the most efficient way, in that you have a building that then feeds into other buildings and it produces this much and these buildings use this much. There are games that do that better. The only way I've found to try and manage stuff here is clicking on statistics, clicking on apples, for example, clicking weekly, clicking production, and you can see my production is through the roof. This is because I was making apples, lost some due to an event, and then I had no idea how much I needed to produce and how much people were using, and it was very difficult to work out other than looking at that screen. But then stuff is produced in different buildings in different amounts of time and used differently, and it all gets very confusing. There's no other sort of way around that. It does just get very confusing. So I ended up just building a load of orchards, and now I have too many apples, which is fine. I'd rather have too many than too little. I'm transporting apples from here to the other city because they can't produce it. Keeping people happy means that you have to give them everything they need. Everything. Or they get unhappy. I have had bugs a few times where some of these houses just weren't collecting stuff, but they do at the moment appear to be collecting stuff, thankfully, so that's nice. But for quite a while, some of those weren't. But that seems to have self-corrected after a fire. Your house burning down makes you go and buy some more apples, or pick up some apples, I guess. So the city building aspect is good. And as a sandbox city builder, great. Explore it, play it, have fun yourself. That is the part of the game that I can compliment. You know, other than bugs and some niggly bits here and there, I think the city building aspect isn't bad. I will say it's terrible in the narrative, which is what I'm playing at the moment. So when you start a game, you can either choose narrative or non-narrative. So I've got the narrative running in the background. I've got farmer structures, I've got labourer structures, and I can't see the other two. They're just question marks. Nothing tells me how to unlock these. All I can tell is that from the Steam forums, it's part of the narrative that you unlock them. I completed the tutorial as part of the narrative, and then I stopped getting objectives. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing right now. I've built pretty much everything I can build. I've got some military, which are up here. There they are. Military, knocking about up there. I've got, you know, the city down here. I've built pretty much every building I can build. I have no idea what to do now. I could build walls and towers and everything else around my city if I wanted and make it look pretty, but I can't unlock the other two, and I have no idea how to progress the story to do that. Along with the narrative, there is another feature called the Wellgrim Presence, which is this mist you can see everywhere, and it spawns crystals, which you can then mine. Oh, Act 2 event start a king. Here we go, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. So these events keep popping up every so often. I'm not sure how they're timed or anything. I wish things progressed a little bit faster at this stage, because everything felt a bit slow in that sense. Maybe this is going to unlock one of these for me, because I'm now in Act 2. Let's click it and see. Ah, so the other king has come to see us. Okay, so this is the other king. He speaks as though you know much of us, yada yada yada. Nothing is known to me, at least not for long. How else could I claim to be her protector? Yada yada yada. You're still unknown to you. These women who do their best to hide beneath their cloaks. Do you know their true nature? Believe the words they speak. These are other people you've met that try and help you understand this stuff. Okay, it's a little bit confusing. I'll be honest, I haven't read a lot of these because there's a lot of them and some of them don't seem to lead anywhere, which is quite frustrating. I'm just trying to get through this for the sake of the video. Okay. Oh, there you go. So this is what I mean. So that was a narrative event, a story event, and that's a prime example. Nothing happened as a result of it. I've got no new objectives. I've got no unlocks at the bottom there. It was just a conversation. It hasn't done anything. Why is it there? What is the point? If you're going to have a narrative event, have something that happens after it. Give me an objective. Give me something new to build or unlock. Like, there's not even an overarching like objective here to destroy the enemy, which I think is the point. I think that's the point of the game. You destroy the main enemy. But that's not even there. I have nothing to aim towards. I have no way to know how to unlock these other things. If you've got a narrative, you have to keep pushing that narrative and have objectives for the player. Otherwise, it's a sandbox and you might as well call it that and scrap the narrative. They're just talking to each other for the sake of talking to each other. That's why I've given up reading them. On occasion, when one of those pops up and you click through, you get something that's an outcome at the end, but you don't know what that outcome is going to be before you click on it and select it half the time. In fact, more than half the time. And sometimes nothing happens, like there. So, it just feels unfinished. Simple as that. It feels unfinished. There's no direction at all. Right now, I'm at day 52, and since about day 45, I have no idea what I'm doing in the game. I have no idea how to progress. And I have no desire to continue playing. Which is a massive problem. You need to give people objectives if they're not playing a sandbox mode. Because in sandbox mode, at least everything's unlocked already. But in narrative mode, it's not. So what am I doing? It doesn't make any sense, that, at all. There's some other bits and pieces that don't really make sense. So there's a diplomacy screen where it talks about other towns. If I zoom out, as you will notice here, there are no other towns. All of these are just places the player can take over, and then the enemy's here. As I've discovered from looking on the Steam forums, these are just little icons that appear on the map, and with a name next to them, and you scout them out. I've sent a scout around the map at my side. I haven't found any of them. I can only assume that it's not unlocked because of the narrative, so why are they listed there? They shouldn't be there until I find them, or if they're there, they should be on the map. Otherwise, what's the point in having these options to do trade with them and this, that, and the other? This diplomacy stuff feels like a nice idea that hasn't been finished off properly. And certainly, for some reason, isn't in the narrative yet. The Wellgrim stuff that's running in the background, just getting back to that, now we've done a little story bit. It spawns these crystals and gives random events. So the random events, fine, it's all going on in the background. It hasn't really bothered me. I've not really interacted with it. The crystals, you mine them, I think, and collect them and stuff like that, and then you store it. And my only interaction so far has been that I've got the Grim stores, and I didn't have oil, and the old one exploded. That was my only interaction with that as part of the narrative so far. I'm quite a few hours into the game. I've had it on fast forward so quite a lot of the time. I have no idea what I'm doing next. I really don't. The RTS side is clunky at best. Another feature that they added, which question mark on it, is that if your units are away from your cities and need to attack somewhere, you need to provide them military rations. And the consensus on the Steam forum seemed to be, don't build anything except horses because they're fast and you don't need rations. I have no idea why they added this as another feature. Why did we need military rations for the troops? What has that added to the game? It's giving you somewhere to spend resources, fine, but did it need to be there? Has it added anything positive? I would argue not. If you're making players just meta it and buy nothing but one type of unit, what was the point? You've got swordsmen, pikemen, archers, and horses. And if all you're building is horses, what's the point? You can only build so many troops. To build more troops, you have to build more armories. The game doesn't seem to tell you that anywhere. You can only store 2,000 gold. To get more gold, you have to build more vaults. The game doesn't really tell you that anywhere. Again, I had to look on the Steam forums for this. And that's the game through and through. There's not enough direction. There's not enough explanation of what the hell's going on half the time. There's quite a few bugs still. Nothing major that I've had personally. Just houses not collecting stuff. My trader just randomly stopping once and stopping doing their trading for no reason. They just stopped in the middle of nowhere. Part of the tutorial that I found quite buggy is when you're going to build... It asks you to build 10 archers, but it doesn't really make sure you have the right resources and everything to build those 10 archers, so I had to wait a while before I could build them. And by the time I built them, the camp that was here had ballooned and I couldn't kill it. I built other troops, horses, spearmen, swordsmen. All the spearmen and swordsmen got killed. I ran everything else away. It wasn't until they decided to either attack me or attack the other player or the AI that's on the map. They ran past all my units, which were here, and my units just slaughtered them without them even engaging my units, which seems like a massive oversight. But that kind of sums up the RTS aspect. It feels like it should be a much bigger part of the game, but it feels like it's a bit of an oversight. You know, there's all these things down here, attack, defend, patrol, and all of that stuff. Great. You can put units on walls, as you will see over here in the capital city of the enemy. They've got loads of units here. They've got catapults or trebuchets. They've got people on the walls. You can put people in towers. Great. It's nice that all of that is there, but it feels clunky and unfinished. And for me, the two staples of this game, or the two main things, should have been the city building and the RTS aspect. And the RTS aspect feels, to put it simply, half-arsed. I don't think you needed any of this ration nonsense. I think you could have spent more time on the positioning of the troops and, you know, maybe looking at it in a different way, even if it was buying groups of troops rather than one at a time. I don't know. It definitely could have been done better. But instead you've got all these other features that have just been piled onto the game, and it's fine adding features if everything else is ready and finished and complete. So, as a sandbox, it's great. You just do your own thing, right? The narrative side, you need to put objectives in this game. You cannot just have me sat here wondering what the hell is... What am I doing? How do I progress? You need to have objectives. And I don't know if that's a bug, that I have no objectives anymore. It might be. I have no idea. That's a big bug if that's the bug. You can buy scouts and militia and stuff at the main area, by the way, which I didn't know originally. At your keep. But yeah, I'm... Right now, day 53 in the game, I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's a bad sign. I have no idea how to progress. There's no objective or guide or anything at this point. And I'm going to put the game down and not play it anymore. That's the reality of the situation. Because this game isn't finished. At least not to a standard I think is reasonable. And I am sorry to the developers. I truly am. You've obviously put a lot of hard work in. The only thing I would really advise is for your next title, pick your main things and focus on them, and don't add lots of little features around that. Work on getting the main stuff finished. Then think about adding other stuff. But going down this road of feature creep has done you serious damage. The reviews on Steam are mixed, very reasonably so, and most recently they are negative, which is a shame, but I also don't think that's unreasonable. The game's buggy, it has a lot of unfinished or unpolished features, and I just don't know what to do with it. And I really, really hate making videos like this. You have no idea. But I cannot recommend this game. Unfortunately, I do have to make a video because I get some of my keys off Keymailer and things like that. And they expect you to cover the games. Whether it's positive or negative, they expect you to cover the game. So I am covering the game. I don't know if anyone else has played this game. What do you think of it? I'm sure some people have had a better experience or enjoy the sort of sandbox aspect to it. But as I say, I really can't recommend it if you're not just looking for a sandbox city builder. There are other titles that do everything this game does better. There's the Anno series and there's Manor Lords. And I wish this game had stuck to the core concept more and not added in the other stuff. But it is what it is. I am sorry to the developers. It's your game at the end of the day, and I can only give my thoughts on it and play it based on what I would expect from this type of game. So thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you all soon.